12, Inside Out. Okay. Cal Poly worked well for Vic. Not only did he find friends, he found musicians. Well, actually, they found him. Beyond's last recording was well received, and when Chain of Strength was touring back east, Chris Bratton found out that Vic was in SoCal and available. Chris made the first contact when he got back. Vic tried out for a couple of bands with Chris and others, but the fit wasn't just right. In the world of music, or at least in hardcore music, band members are often in many bands simultaneously. Vic was invited to try out with Inside Out. The band had existed to perform previously, but had lost their guitarist and drummer. They had a new drummer, Alex, in mind, and needed one more piece to finish the puzzle. The chemistry and sound worked, and Vic had earned his place in a West Coast band. Besides replacing the guitarist, he ended up writing some of the music. Inside Out had 4 members: Alex on drums, Sterling on bass, Vic on guitar, and Zack Screaming. The first performance with Vic was at Spanky's, which is near UC Riverside. Spanky's was really a local eatery that had somehow or other agreed to do a hardcore show on a Sunday afternoon. I went to the first performance with Vic, even though I didn't know that the Inside Out crowd would that well yet as people. I certainly didn't know what to expect other than the usual hardcore mayhem. Setup went about normal, and then all hell broke loose. These guys could shred. It was immediately obvious that musically they were different, with a stronger and tighter sound than other bands I'd heard, even including Beyond. They seemed to be pretty closely wired together. Spanky's owner, however, was aghast with the degree of audience participation at a hardcore show, and stopped the show fearing that his shop would be destroyed. Someone convinced him that if everybody sat down, it would be okay to continue, so we all sat on the floor. This changed everything. The usual chaos was refocused on the band. The difference in the songs and the singer between Inside Out and everything else in this style that I'd heard before was as sharp as broken glass. Zack was very intense and emotional. The songs had deeper meanings, surpassing even Beyond, and not at all like some of the silly stuff Vic played when he was back on Long Island. They sang about respect for individuals and the never-ending struggle to be free from oppression. In typical hardcore fashion, Zack would introduce each song with a rant. Before Inside Out, the rants would go in one ear and out the other. Zack's words lingered and rang true. And I was there, front and center with my camera, the only way I know to capture action. I got some good shots, but it turned out to be brutal. I was so close to Zack that during the rendition of Burning Fight, his hand accidentally struck my camera and broke the flash mount. I didn't know it at the time, but the camera returned the favor and broke Zack's thumb. Inside Out was an under-the-radar band playing mostly shows at the nearby college campuses. Bands of this type always did self-promotion with flyers, handouts, and posters. I was now working as a consultant at Fujitsu America, a company in possession of some serious Xerox equipment. I was happy to help in any way and glad to be a part, however small, of this group. They were an intense and closely knit band of idealists out to change the world one song at a time. Inside Out performed at the Shea Cafe at UC San Diego in La Jolla fairly often. Most Inside Out band members were from the LA area, and the long drive late at night wasn't fun. So sometimes the guys would stay overnight with us in Rancho Bernardo. Zack had a rickety little white Nissan pickup truck. He would stop by the house on the way to and from the Shea to pick up the amps and the other equipment that was stationed in RB. One morning after a show, Vic and several of his friends were in the bedroom upstairs. I heard a loud thud from above, like a bowling ball dropped from eye level. I went upstairs to investigate and immediately discarded the bowling ball theory. Vic's friend Mike Madrid, singer from Against the Wall, sat on the edge of the bed. His considerable weight had collapsed the frame's wheel. Mike apologized and offered to pay. I dismissed his generosity with, just glad everyone's okay. Later I asked Vic about it. Is Mike a vegetarian? Yeah, so. He sure weighs a lot. Why is he so fat? It's really pretty simple, Pop. He eats too much. Huh, how come I didn't think of that? Couldn't be more obvious. I guess I really didn't understand the vegetarians as much as I thought I did. Early in 1990, Inside Out was busy recording No Spiritual Surrender. Some friction within the band started to show when Vic wanted the cover art for the album to be Krishna-style illustrations, and Zack was steadfast in resisting that pigeonhole. The dispute finally was settled by Revelation Records without regard for the band's opinion. In the end, the cover was a picture of Zack performing. The backside of the CD sleeve included a graphic that was vaguely Hindu. Here's some of the lyrics to the song No Spiritual Surrender, which Vic wrote. try to do this. Try to make me bow down to you. Try to take my identity. Try to make me just another pebble on the beach. A green mind twists in pain. A cold hand trying to silence me. You reach out to grasp me, but I'm out of reach. No spiritual surrender. No spiritual surrender. The album was a pretty good first effort, but their newest work was starting to cook as it struggled to find one voice solidified their sound. After a show, Zack and the band discussed the upcoming album. While loitering in the vicinity, I heard the phrase "Rage Against the Machine." It was a new song and might be the name of their next album. Not everyone in the band liked the name. For some reason, Zack asked my opinion. I said that the single word "rage" was the better name, because "against the machine" part is trite, and the naked word "rage" was much more expressive. Sadly, that album for Inside Out never got recorded, but "Rage Against the Machine" became something. Try to make me bow down to you. Try to take my identity. Try to make me just another pebble on the beach. A green mind twists in pain. A cold hand trying to silence me. You reach out to grasp me, but I'm out of reach. No spiritual surrender. No spiritual surrender.